Before we start this podcast, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Just kidding. We're not sponsored. But I just wanted to hop on and give you guys a quick disclaimer. You see, today we're talking about the Ten Commandments. And although Andrew and I have a pretty extensive background in church leadership and church ministry, we're not biblical scholars. We're not even close. We say a lot of crazy things sometimes, and we say a lot of things that maybe we don't actually believe, but we do think it's important to start the conversation and to help people maybe talk through some of the things that maybe they're feeling. And I'm feeling as well. So just know that there are other leadership podcasts that you can listen to with like Craig Rochelle or Joel Osteen or whatever. But also you have a pastor that God's put in front of your life to lead you as well. So we hope that you enjoy this episode. We hope that it starts conversations with you and your friends. And we hope that you also would subscribe, rate, and review the podcast because you're cool like that. All right. Thanks. Hey guys, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. We are hanging out again with my bro Andrew, who technically still is the co-host of the podcast. But
I am the S to this show.
He is the S. you're the okay. So today we are we're going to talk about the Ten Commandments, because we might as well. Those exist. My wife's been reading through Exodus. Notice I said my wife and not me. I should get into that.
What are you reading through, Dusty?
I am reading through the Bible in 10 years.
Ah.
Have you heard of that book? Read through the Bible in 10 years?
So I'm actually doing a devotional right now on the Ten Commandments as well. It's called Rooted in the Truth. And it's not just Exodus.
It's all the Bible?
Yeah, well, like today was about honoring your mother and father, and so it was Exodus, Deuteronomy, Malachi, and Ephesians.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Here's the problem, Andrew. So I used to have the excuse that I couldn't, I didn't have time, to like, man, if I just had more time, like in the mornings, I could, read the Bible, do devotion, stuff like that. But guess what?
What?
I have found time to stream video games for children online with no problem. Yet I still don't have time to do devotions and stuff. But somehow I found 2 hours most days to jump online and play these silly video games for kids. And, I'm kind of doing it as a ministry. There's not a lot of positive Christian gamers out there on these platforms. And so when your child wants to go watch somebody play video games, which is interestingly enough very entertaining, actually, they're dropping the F-bombs, they're dropping everything, the GDs and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm out there trying to be the positive gamer, trying to not bully people online, but trying to include everyone, befriend everyone, and it's exhausting. But it's also rewarding. You haven't been playing games at all lately, streaming?
No, not since you started. Actually, you took my time slot. We're
on different platforms.
I was that positive Christian streamer that didn't cuss, and yeah, you just kind of took that spot, and I didn't fight it because I was already sort of tired of streaming. Yeah,
it gets, like, if you do it too much, like, it does get to be like, I just want to chill.
It's very monotonous.
Yeah, and it's very monotonous when you're playing the same game over and over again and trying to make it new. So I've kind of scaled back. I did start, like, every day, and I scaled back to, like, 3 days a week, and that's kind of helped that, monotonous kind of stuff. But fun fact, Andrew, I have created, and it's super embarrassing, right? But I created a YouTube channel to put some of the video clips from my live streams on. And I've showed it to you, so you can't tell anybody it because it's very, I don't know, it's just super, like, nerdy, and I'm a 34-year-old man.
On YouTube
On
for little
YouTube.
kids.
For little kids. Oh my gosh. And so
I warned my daughter about guys like you.
anyway, so it's just super nerdy. Like maybe if I was in my 20s, it would be less nerdy. Probably not, but it's just
Or maybe even late teens.
it feels super nerdy, right? So, anyways, if you want to challenge, I'll give you like a free Oklahoma T-shirt if you can find that YouTube with no help. And you can't be somebody that I told you the YouTube channel. Like, can't be you or can't be my wife or my mom or my sister. I think those are the only ones. Not your wife either. I think I sent a group chat of that. So anyway, because Andrew, you're featured in one of those videos, and so
Yes, I am.
Because
I like it when you call me Big Papi.
Yeah. People still miss you, Andrew. They want you to come on the stream more often. We should stream together in the mornings.
I was going to snipe you.
Make it less monotonous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to snipe you actually this morning, but something happened, and
you came over to my house instead.
yeah, I decided to snipe you in real life.
Yeah, so
Dusty, I actually just got a random text from a buddy of mine.
Okay.
Yes, I have more than just you as friends.
And why is your phone on? That's the question.
Well, I got to know what's happening in the real world. And he's actually asking about an app to get out of a traffic ticket.
What?
So,
I'm guessing you can't say his name.
I cannot.
Okay.
But, yes, there is an app for that. So I'm not going to say the name of this app.
Oh, my gosh.
I do happen to know that there is an app that does get you out of traffic tickets. Though.
Really?
And so, yes. I saw it one day on, I don't know, some weird news thing I was reading.
And does it work?
I don't know. Essentially, it's a lawyer for hire on an app, and you pay him like $100 or to $150, and he gets you out of much higher tickets.
Dang.
Yeah.
I think my highest ticket was like $150, so I don't know how fast that dude was going.
Right? That's what I'm saying. How fast were you going? Were you in a school zone or construction zone? But, yeah. I actually do know the amount of his tickets.
How
and
much?
I think
How much is it?
it was $320.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember his or her exact speed.
It's probably Austin and Leb. Is Austin and Leb texting
It is.
you?
They were. Yes. It was Austin and Leb. They literally.
They literally were going the speed of light.
Yes. But, yeah, so that was an odd text to get in the morning.
It's odd, Andrew, that you're the go-to guy to figure out how to get out of this ticket. Like, dude, who do I know that can help me? Oh, Andrew. Andrew is the guy.
I do seem to be that guy. Huh.
Have you used this guy? Have you used this app before?
No, but I have always disputed 100% of my tickets. So I am not lazy with my tickets. I will go to the courthouse and plead no contest or not guilty, whatever the verbiage they want me to use is that day.
Mm-hmm.
And they will always lower the ticket. I've never not had one jurisdiction not lower the ticket to a non-point 10 and under ticket.
Dang.
Now, they may leave your fine the same, but they will take the penalty of the points going on your insurance off the table.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That should be called insurance fraud.
So the police are committing insurance fraud, is what you're saying.
Basically, they're like, hey, okay, we'll pay our fine, but we won't let you get charged more on your insurance.
Pay us, and you won't have to pay them.
Yeah, exactly. It's extortion.
That's extortion. You're right. Huh. I may have a case here.
We're going to get on that app right now. Let's get our answers.
Because I have... so this app, actually... this app does other stuff. It's not just this app gets you a reduced fee. Mm-hmm. They may get the ticket thrown out altogether. Because if a cop... supposedly, and I don't know, I do have cop friends. I should probably verify this before I put it on our podcast, but I'm not going to.
We don't verify anything.
Sorry, Mark,
either scripture
I'm not calling you on
or
or the law.
Or the law.
Now, caveat this: I am not a lawyer. Do not take me with any legal advice or use this as legal advice.
Andrew is not a lawyer. He's just a professional arguer.
Yes, I'm a debater.
Continue.
A master at debating. So they will find discrepancies in the ticket, like your vehicle's black, but they say it's red, or they get one digit wrong on your driver's light or on your speeding ticket, or they say you're 5'9" and you're actually 5'7", some crap like that. They will argue that point and be like, it could not have been this person. So actually, a buddy of mine got a ticket, and it said, just use a hypothetical date, October 2nd of 2015. And he actually got the ticket on November 2nd, 2015. So they got the wrong month in there.
Stupid
so they don't,
cop.
Yeah, exactly. They don't argue that they weren't speeding. Mm-hmm. They argue that they were not there on October 2nd. They were there November 2nd. Mm-hmm. So, and that's the way you get out of those tickets, according to this app. And
yeah, and I've heard that, like, if you show up to your court date and the officer that gave you the ticket is not present,
they just throw it out.
He's not there to argue it,
right,
or whatever.
Yep.
But you go to a court date, like you go to the first court date, and then they have to reschedule.
Yes,
for the actual trial.
Yeah, and then also what you keep doing is you keep postponing your court date, and so you make it more inconvenient for the officer so that he doesn't show up.
So it's not on his normal time to just hang out around the courthouse.
Or you just find out what his schedule is.
Check his Facebook. See, is he going out of town on any vacations?
Ooh.
Then
yes, befriend him.
Yeah, befriend. Yeah, he gets a random.
Have your wife befriend him.
Hey, we're not getting out of the ticket that way.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
I tried to save you some money. So, yeah, that's what, that's that. So
is speeding, like, so I have a friend, Nick, he was on our, he was on our podcast.
Yeah. I remember
He
Nick.
has this stupid tendency to go exactly the speed limit. Never over, never under. Mm-hmm. He goes exactly the speed limit.
Really?
He is very convicted on... Well, he's just very... He wants to go as fast as possible. He's just very convicted
on speed
to not go not even 1 mile over. Like, he has the digital speedometer. I almost said digital thermometer. Digital speedometer. And he when I ride with him, is always frustrating. You're getting passed by everyone. But he's going exactly the speed limit. That is what the law is, and he's very convicted by it. And you kind of have to respect it, because is there an argument of speeding as a Christian?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Because the Bible says that, God put those in charge over us, including the government. And so the government so God has ordained them over us. And the government sets speed limits. Therefore, God has ordained the speed limit that the government has set. So, yes, in my opinion, it does. Now, do I speed? Yes, I do. Do I? I was going to say intentionally. Intentionally, yes, I do. I do realize I'm speeding, and I don't necessarily slow down. I don't excessively speed, but I do 9 under, because it's a non-point ticket.
So then would you say speeding is a sin?
Yes. Next question.
So you have an unrepentant heart?
Yes. And I'm going to hell.
Maybe not. That's the second question. Like, can you go to heaven with an unrepentant heart, even if something is like speeding?
I feel you can, yeah. Okay. Because we're not perfect. The only perfect man was Jesus.
Yes.
And God is not going to judge us because we're not perfect. He's going to judge us based on our love for Him and have we accepted Him as our Christ.
But part of that accepting is not
repenting
staying in your stuff.
Right.
It is repenting. So what I'm saying is...
But everybody has addictions, and speeding is an addiction. Am I going to CR for it?
Do you feel bad when you speed, knowing
at
that
times
it's a
I
sin?
do, yes.
No,
I do, because
at times,
I will.
Like yesterday when I hit a child in the school zone, I was really sad.
I do, but I don't. And you can talk to my wife. I try to do speed limit, but there are times when I'm in a hurry that I just want to get home. And so, yeah, I do 10 under.
And I always am in a hurry, and I always want to get home.
Well, I'm not always.
I am.
I'm not. I don't always speed. But now, getting back to Nick real quick, and he doesn't go. He goes exactly the speed limit, not over or under. Let's break down the word speed or
limit.
Speed limit. Limit meaning the maximum.
Well,
so you can go under.
You can go under, and I don't.
Right.
He'll go under. It's just he wants. He doesn't want to be on the road any longer than he has to either.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, cool. Go the flow of traffic. That technically is legal. Maybe?
Thank you for bringing that up. That is actually how I speed. Is I do the flow of traffic. I'm not normally passing everybody, but I am passing that car or following that car that is passing most people. So that's how I speed.
Here's my thoughts on it is just in general, socially acceptable sins. Like, there's some sins.
Like cursing?
Socially, cursing's not as socially acceptable in most areas, though.
It's not. You're right.
But, like, speeding is more of an adopted norm in our lives. And because it's convenient for us. Overeating is a norm in our life.
Why are you looking at my stomach,
eating
Dusty?
Unhealthy is, and so just like we have a lot of those as Christians. Like what's socially acceptable and what is like detestable,
Right.
and that's kind of a fine line because I think to God, like a sin is a sin.
Yeah, a sin is a sin is a sin.
Which leads us to the 10 Commandments topic that we're wanting to talk about, basically stealing our pastor's sermon ideas because we had no idea what to talk about. and because of those reviews we talked about, we need more substance, Andrew, more substance in the podcast. So,
but don't we also need more facts?
We also, we don't need facts, just substance.
Facts just get in the way of what we're trying to say.
Facts get in the way. The facts prove me wrong, typically, so I just try to avoid the facts.
Like speeding. The fact is, there's a speed limit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I came over this morning and asked, and we've kind of touched on this before, but Ten Commandments, do we follow them? Is it an Old Testament law? Did it die when Jesus died? What do we do? What are the 10 Commandments?
Well, and there's the 10 Commandments, but you can also just throw in every Old Testament law.
Right.
Like,
and we're not going to touch that one in Leviticus that you like to bring up.
Yep. Leviticus 18:19. If you're interested,
don't.
If you're interested, just read it for yourself. Did the 10 Commandments override Leviticus? I don't know. But
True.
Leviticus comes after in the Bible.
But we all know the Bible is not chronological.
Right, but chronologically, where is it? I don't know.
Although we could do a Bible in a year chronologically and we would know.
Well, I'll tell you what happens in the Bible in 10 years. So when I'm done with that book, I'll let you know.
So what you're saying is we're going to be 44 and still doing this podcast.
That's the goal, right?
Okay.
That's the goal.
Challenge accepted.
So 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Do you follow them?
I mean, yes. I haven't murdered anyone yet.
But Jesus says,
if you think a bad thought, you've already committed it.
Yeah.
So I've killed you thousands of times,
Yeah,
Dusty.
I've murdered you. I've fantasized about that.
I'm actually thinking about murdering you right now, Dusty.
Shut your dirty mouth. So 10 Commandments, do they apply today, Andrew? What's your thoughts? What's your stance?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yes and no. I mean, yes, it's a good law, or they're good laws to live by, for sure. And a lot of the stuff, is still talked about in the New Testament as well. I do believe the old law died, and I believe the 10 Commandments were part of the old law. I believe they died when Jesus gave his life for us and washed us with his blood and put us under his mercy. So, I'm kind of torn. I don't know, really. That's where I'm at.
I think the argument, because the argument with tithing, right, is there was an Old Testament law.
Right.
But Jesus says you shouldn't just give 10%, you should give it all,
Right.
Give
in
more.
red letters.
In the red letters. Well, I didn't quote it, so don't say red letters. I guess with the Old Testament and the Ten Commandments is Jesus saying, I think that's where Jesus says it even more, like, maybe, yeah, don't murder somebody. There were specific consequences that God gave to the Israelites when they did murder somebody to follow. When Jesus says, in your heart you've murdered somebody. So I think for me, the biggest thing with the Ten Commandments is it just shows that it's impossible to follow them, especially if you add the Jesus spin on it, where everything is like 10 times easier to commit the sin, to where it just shows that we need Jesus. Like, we are not perfect. I am not perfect. I cannot get into heaven by any works that I do. And I need a Savior. And so I feel like that's the biggest thing with the Ten Commandments. Obviously, like, you don't murder somebody. Like, but then you have, like, the honor of the Sabbath. And then you got the arguments of what is actually the Sabbath, because the Sabbath
Saturday or Sunday
is Saturday or Sunday, and
is it even that? I take Thursdays off, so to me Thursday is my Sabbath.
Yeah, but then now it's like, well, it doesn't matter about the day, is what I hear. It's
matters
more matters that you take a day. It matters that you take your heart. Well, we all cook our own meals on Sunday, even when we go to church. So the Sabbath wasn't from 9 to 9:30 to 11.
I don't. I go to fast food restaurants. Just not
So
Chick-fil-A.
Saturdays wasn't just 9:30 to 11 Sabbath, which is what we would say going to church. It was the entire day.
Right. Yep. You didn't have your slaves or your ox or anybody working that day.
Then there's the argument where the way we practice church now, it's a lot like working a second job. When you're there from like 7:45 to 12:30, like I'm there for 4 hours, 5 hours.
I'm not. I'm there for an hour and a half, maybe. It depends on how much I want to talk to people.
So to me, like, I'm not really resting on a Sunday. Not the way the Bible says to rest on a Sunday. If that's
I just had another topic come up in my head.
Oh, gosh.
And I know you have to wrap this up because you have places to be today. I don't, because like I said, today's my day off. Actually, I didn't say that. But we are recording on a Thursday.
We record on Thursdays usually, which is your Sabbath.
Right.
So you're working.
I am working on this podcast. Worship. And we've talked about this before. Do you have to go in and listen to the music and raise your hands in order to be worshiping? Because that's not necessarily how I worship. And we've talked about this. Music is not my worship. Fellowship is. So while you guys are in there, quote-unquote, worshiping.
Just worshiping.
I am out in the foyer,
mm-hmm.
worshiping in my way, which is fellowship. Talking.
Was just talking, like we're doing now.
Right.
I think the music side of it is pretty relevant to most people.
But not
one
me.
of the reasons you don't go in there now
right
is with PTSD stuff. So
yeah.
So you can't, like, I get your point. Like, you can't focus on Christ. You can't focus on the emotions that music can help bring out of people. Like, maybe I can. My problem is I have led worship since 8th grade. So
since you was a baby,
almost 20 years, like 18 years now, I have been on stage playing music, leading people in worship.
That's how long we've been friends.
I know, gosh. And so when I am in the audience, I tend to gravitate towards how's the band doing, who's messing up, how's the sound, who needs turned. Like I'm being more like it doesn't matter. It's our church, it's whatever church I go to.
You're judging, you're critiquing.
I'm critiquing. Yeah, I'm critiquing how they're performing on stage, their presence on stage, their music level on stage. And so it is hard for me to focus even on in that setting to focus on worship. I might get one good song in for the most part, for that first couple songs. I'm kind of, and like in our church, I know them. So I know that this guy messes up a lot. I mess up a lot,
So you're looking for it.
So I'm looking for it, and I'm kind of trying to make eye contact when I see it to let them know I saw that, I heard that, just as a funny joke. But that's not worship either. So just being in the service isn't worship. Fellowship is just as much as part of it. I think when you look at the new church that Christ established, it was focused on fellowship. I think the house church model is focused on fellowship. Yep. And so I think that, yes, Sunday morning we do miss a lot of that, because that's kind of, if you want that, you got to show up early or you got to stay late. And
which is why
that's
I show
a hard
up early.
mentality to have. Yeah, it's a hard mentality to have, to show up early and late. And like, everybody come in and sit down, shut up. Like
pretty much.
That's kind of how it is. And at least, I mean, I know that's not the intent, but that's how it ends up kind of being like. So, yeah, because it's rude if you're talking while somebody's talking on stage,
right?
Having this conversation, it's like,
how many times I've had people come out and shush me?
Yeah, shush! You guys can't be having fellowship out here. We're trying to worship. So, all right, Andrew. Final thoughts on the 10 Commandments.
So final thoughts. I've kind of already given those. I don't know. I don't know. Is my final thought.
Well, fantastic. Sorry to waste your time.
Actually,
we have
you know what?
relevant.
I do have one more thing to say about that.
No, I shouldn't have said anything.
Jesus spoke about it. Spoke about them like, murder if you already thought it, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. But he hadn't died at that point. And we're washed with his blood and given grace. So he didn't speak anything about it after he died that we know of. It's not in the Bible anyways.
About the 10 Commandments?
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
He only spoke of it while he was alive. Do we do what he says before we were washed with his blood?
Jesus technically didn't write the Bible. People are quoting him.
This is true.
They quoted him wrong.
Maybe he said all that after he came back from the dead, after he rose.
Yeah,
and they just got the timeline wrong.
Exactly. And then you get out of the ticket of sin, and you got the timeline wrong, have the wrong date stamped on it.
Right. I see what you did there.
We haven't asked this in a while, but feel free to subscribe, to the podcast, so you don't have to worry about did it release on the right date, because sometimes it doesn't, and but you can just subscribe so it just automatically goes to your phone. You can rate it, you can smash that like button. Actually, there's no like button on iTunes,
but smash that sub.
Yeah, so whether you're listening on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Play,
Pandora now,
any of those things, just shoot us a little shout out in there, and yeah, we'll have some more content for you.
And who knows, we may turn this into Bible Bros and Beers.
No, not gonna do that.
Just grass. We're leaving beer out of it.
I don't know. What's more socially acceptable sin?
The beer?
The beer, probably. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Bible Bros and Beers. Why not? Way to just like take that positive energy, Andrew, and now leave us another 1-star review. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Well, have a good one.